You did not arrive at this moment by accident. Something in you has been carrying the weight of words that were never true, shadows that others tried to place over your name, and silence that felt heavier than any accusation. But today, let your heart rest in this. The lie against you has fallen, and God has been at work even where you could not see him. You may not have witnessed every conversation, every hidden motive, or every attempt to distort your character. Yet the Lord who sees in secret has never confused a false story with the truth of who you are. He knows the tears you swallowed, the nights you questioned yourself, and the strength it took to remain quiet when you wanted to defend everything. If this season has left you wondering why you were set apart only to be misunderstood, the call of the chosen, a 30-day journey, can help you recognize what God may be forming in the waiting, the resistance, and the rebuilding of your confidence. It is not about chasing dramatic answers. It is about learning to walk with clarity when your heart is tired. You will find a path toward faith-filled decisions and steady purpose. Access it through the pinned comment. Do not let the collapse of a lie become the beginning of bitterness in you. Let it become proof that truth does not need panic to survive. On this 5th day of August, do not treat these words as a prediction written in the sky or a guarantee that every person will suddenly confess what they did. Receive this day instead as a marker, a moment to remember that God is not absent when truth seems delayed. The Lord works with patience because he cares not only about exposing what is false, but also about healing what was wounded in you. Sometimes the greatest evidence of God's movement is not public vindication. Sometimes it is the peace that returns to your mind after fear has occupied it for too long. Sometimes it is the courage to stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Sometimes it is the wisdom to close a door without needing the person on the other side to agree with your decision. You have spent enough energy trying to convince darkness that you belong to the light. God did not call you to become attention. You need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Zuzazara readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment. The attorney of your own soul. He called you to remain faithful, to keep your heart clean, and to trust him with what cannot be controlled. A lie is designed to make you doubt what God has already spoken over your life. It tries to rearrange your memory, weaken your voice, and make you question whether you deserve to stand with your head lifted. It wants you to believe that a rumor has more authority than your character. It wants you to believe that someone else's version of you is stronger than the life God has seen you live. But falsehood is fragile, even when it appears powerful for a season. It depends on confusion, repetition, fear, and the cooperation of those who refuse to seek truth. God does not need those tools. His truth stands because it comes from his nature. He knows what happened. He knows what you intended. He knows where you made mistakes, and he also knows where you were falsely blamed. You do not have to pretend to be perfect in order for God to defend what is true. Humility means admitting what is yours while refusing to carry what was placed on you by deception. There are wounds that form when someone tells a lie about you, but there are deeper wounds that form when you begin repeating that lie to yourself. Maybe someone made you feel unworthy, unstable, unlovable, dangerous, selfish, or incapable. Maybe the accusation was never spoken directly, but it was built through exclusion, coldness, distorted stories, and people acting as if they knew your heart. The pain did not only come from what they said, it came from what their words tried to make you believe about yourself. Today, bring that hidden agreement before God. Tell Him plainly where you began to accept a false identity. Tell Him where you started shrinking, apologizing for existing, or withholding the gift He placed inside you. The Lord is gentle with the parts of you that became afraid. He does not shame you for being wounded. He invites you to lay down every label that was formed in cruelty and receive again the identity that comes from His love. You may have wanted God to move faster. You may have prayed for an immediate correction, a public answer, or a moment so clear that nobody could deny what truly happened. But God's timing is not carelessness. He sees what a quick response could miss, and He knows how to protect you from pursuing approval that will never satisfy you. The call of the chosen. A 30-day journey was created for seasons like this, when you need more than encouragement and want practical spiritual direction for carrying purpose through pressure. It helps you examine the noise around you, recognize where fear is influencing your choices, and return to the steady voice of God. You do not need to keep wandering through the same confusion. You can begin moving with intention, one faithful day at a time. Access it through the pinned comment. God may be doing a work in you that will matter more than the response you expected from others. He may be teaching you to stand without applause, to forgive without denial, and to move forward without waiting for every wrong to be repaired in public. The lie has fallen because it cannot remain forever where truth is being invited. That does not mean every consequence disappears in one moment. It does not mean every relationship returns to what it was. It does not mean you must reopen your life to people who repeatedly chose deception. It means the false foundation is losing its power over your heart. It means you no longer have to make decisions from the fear that they may believe the wrong story. It means your next step can be rooted in what God says rather than what people speculate. Let this be the day you stop handing your future to someone else's opinion. Let this be the day you remember that being misunderstood does not erase your calling. Let this be the day you stop interpreting delay as abandonment. God has been present in the quiet places, guarding your spirit, shaping your discernment, and preparing you to carry truth without becoming harsh. Say this quietly in your heart. Lord, I release the need to control every opinion about me. Let those words settle deeper than your emotions. You may still feel the sting of what happened, but you do not have to allow pain to become your identity. There is freedom in admitting that you cannot manage every person's perception. There is strength in allowing God to be the keeper of your name. You are not powerless because you refuse to retaliate. You are not weak because you choose peace over revenge. You are not defeated because you stopped arguing with people who already decided not to listen. God can restore what accusation tried to destroy, but He often begins by restoring the way you see yourself. He teaches you to look in the mirror without repeating the language of your enemies. He teaches you to remember your value without needing constant confirmation. He teaches you to walk away from false rooms without questioning whether you deserved a seat there. Perhaps the hardest part was that the lie came from someone you trusted. It may have come through a family connection, a close friendship, a workplace, a church setting, or a person who knew exactly where your heart was tender. Betrayal cuts differently because it carries the memory of access. You gave them room in your life, and they used what they knew to create confusion or distance. But do not let their misuse of access convince you that your heart was foolish for loving. Your capacity to trust was not the problem. Their decision to dishonor that trust was the problem. God can heal your discernment without making you cold. He can teach you boundaries without turning you into someone who expects betrayal from everyone. He can restore your openness without returning you to unwise patterns. The lesson is not that no one deserves your love. The lesson is that your love needs wisdom beside it. You do not need to celebrate another person's exposure. You do not need to hope they suffer so that you can feel justified. Leave room for God to deal with hearts in ways you cannot understand. Your assignment is not to become consumed with their outcome. Your assignment is to protect the work God is doing in your own spirit. When you stare too long at the people who hurt you, you can lose sight of the future God is opening before you. The enemy would love for you to be so occupied with the lie that you forget the life beyond it. But God is calling you forward. There are conversations you will have without fear. There are rooms you will enter without needing to prove yourself. There are opportunities that will not require you to abandon your peace. There are people who will recognize your integrity because they are committed to truth themselves. Keep your eyes on the road God is placing in front of you. The truth does not always arrive with noise. It can appear as a subtle shift in your spirit, a release from anxiety, a new understanding, or the quiet realization that you no longer need an answer from someone who wounded you. It can appear when you stop rereading old messages, replaying old conversations, and rehearsing what you wish you had said. It can appear when you realize that God preserved you from a relationship that could not honor your future. You may never receive the apology you imagined. You may never hear every hidden detail, yet closure is not always a conversation. Sometimes closure is the moment you decide that God's knowledge is enough for you to keep walking. Sometimes it is the moment you stop carrying evidence into a battle God never asked you to fight. The lie fell when it lost its permission to rule your mind. And today you can take back that permission by choosing truth again. Place your hand over your heart for a moment and say, God, make me steady in what you know about me. You do not need to manufacture confidence. You need to receive the stability that comes from being known by the one who does not lie. The call of the chosen. A 30-day journey offers a focused way to build that steadiness, especially when you have been pulled in many directions by uncertainty, emotional exhaustion, and the pressure to keep proving yourself. It is a practical invitation to slow down, hear God clearly, and turn spiritual insight into daily action. Each step can help you move from surviving the noise to recognizing what your season is asking of you. You do not have to face this next chapter with the same confusion that marked the last one. Access it through the pinned comment. Let the truth of God become louder in you than the memory of every accusation. Let your healing become more important than being understood by people who were never willing to see you honestly. There is a difference between defending your reputation and defending your soul. Your reputation is what people say about you when you are not in the room. Your soul is what remains before God when the room is empty. People may misunderstand your reputation for a while, but God is deeply concerned with your soul. He knows whether you are walking in integrity. He knows whether you are learning from your failures. He knows whether you are trying to remain soft in a hard season. Do not trade your peace for the temporary satisfaction of winning an argument. Do not let a lie pull you into becoming dishonest, cruel, or obsessed. The truth needs no help from hatred. It needs your patience, your obedience, and your willingness to let God shape your response. Your character is not built when everyone praises you. It is built when you choose righteousness while nobody seems to notice. This moment is calling you to separate facts from fear. Fact, someone may have said something untrue. Fear, that lie will define your entire future. Fact, some people may have believed it. Fear, everyone will always see you through that false lens. Fact, you were hurt. Fear, you will never be whole again. God is able to meet you in the space between what happened and what your mind predicts will happen. Do not allow fear to write the ending of a story God is still carrying. The 5th of August can become a reminder that you chose not to surrender your future to an old wound. You chose to believe that God can bring wisdom from pain, boundaries from betrayal, and maturity from pressure. You chose to keep your hands clean even when another person's hands were not. You chose to walk in truth even when falsehood tried to make you question your path. God's action is not always visible in the way you expect. Sometimes he acts by removing access. Sometimes he acts by revealing patterns you ignored because you wanted to believe the best. Sometimes he acts by giving you the courage to say no. Sometimes he acts by redirecting you before a greater harm can take root. Sometimes he acts by allowing you to see that a certain environment was draining the very strength you needed for your calling. Do not limit God's movement to a dramatic public reversal. He may be acting through your healing, your boundaries, your peace, and your ability to recognize what no longer belongs in your life. He is not only interested in proving that you were right, he is interested in making you free. Freedom is more valuable than being applauded by people who once doubted you. Freedom allows you to live without carrying the old accusation into every new relationship. Think of your life as a house God is restoring after a storm. The lie was like rain, forced through a broken window, entering places it never belonged, and leaving everything feeling cold. It touched your thoughts, your sleep, your trust, and perhaps even your prayer. But the storm did not own the house. God remained the builder, the keeper, and the one who understood the structure long before the damage appeared. He does not stand outside judging the mess. He enters with patience. He begins removing what was soaked with fear. He strengthens the places that became weak. He opens windows that were sealed by shame. He brings light into rooms you thought would remain dark forever. Your healing may not happen all at once, but the restoration is real when you let him work. The house is not ruined because rain entered it. It is being rebuilt with greater wisdom, stronger boundaries, and a deeper foundation. In this restored house, you do not have to keep every broken object as evidence of what happened. You are allowed to release what no longer serves the life God is rebuilding in you. You are allowed to let go of screenshots, rehearsed speeches, secret hopes for revenge, and the exhausting need to be believed by everyone. You can remember the lesson without living inside the injury. God is teaching you which doors need locks, which windows need repair, and which rooms need fresh air. This is not punishment. It is protection. A healed heart is not a heart with no memory. It is a heart that no longer bleeds every time the memory returns. Let God show you what needs to remain as wisdom and what needs to leave as weight. You do not need to keep carrying the debris of a storm that has already passed through. You can make room for peace to live where fear once occupied every corner. There may be people who only knew you through the damage caused by the storm. They saw the water on the floor, but never saw how hard you worked to keep standing. They saw your silence, but did not understand the prayer behind it. They saw your distance, but did not understand that you were trying to survive. You cannot force them to see the whole house, but God sees every room. He sees the repairs nobody applauded. He sees the moments you chose restraint. He sees the times you wanted to give up but decided to pray again. Do not base your value on the vision of people who only looked through a cracked window. The Lord is restoring your life from the inside out. In time, the fruit of that restoration will speak more clearly than your explanation ever could. Keep building with God. Keep choosing honesty. Keep allowing peace to become part of your daily environment. A house becomes safe, not because it never experiences weather, but because it has a foundation that can endure it. Your foundation is not other people's approval. Your foundation is not a flawless image. Your foundation is not the absence of opposition. Your foundation is the truth that God knows you, loves you, corrects you, and remains with you. When that truth settles beneath your life, the voices outside cannot decide who you are. They may be loud, but they are not foundational. They may be painful, but they are not permanent. God is helping you build a life where your inner peace is not controlled by outer noise. He is helping you become someone who can hear criticism without collapsing, receive correction without shame, and reject lies without losing compassion. That kind of strength is not created in comfort. It is formed when you keep returning to God after every storm. Do not confuse silence with surrender. There are times when God will lead you to speak clearly, establish a boundary, correct a record, or seek appropriate help. Wisdom is not passive. But there are also times when silence protects your soul from unnecessary conflict. Ask God which response is faithful for your situation. Do not respond from panic. Do not respond simply because someone tries to provoke you into proving your worth. Respond from prayer, clarity, and truth. The enemy wants your reaction to become the new story. God wants your character to remain steady even under pressure. You are allowed to take wise action without losing your peace. You are allowed to protect yourself without becoming hardened. You are allowed to tell the truth without becoming consumed by the need to be vindicated. Let every step be guided by the one who sees beyond the immediate moment. The lie against you fell not merely because circumstances changed, but because you are beginning to rise above its influence. It no longer gets to decide how you see your future. It no longer gets to tell you that you must hide your gift, reduce your voice, or remain trapped in a place where you are constantly questioned. God did not preserve you so that you could return to chains that have already opened. He preserved you so that you could walk forward with wisdom. There is purpose on the other side of this pain. There is a version of you emerging who understands the value of peace, the necessity of boundaries, and the power of truth. Do not fear that this experience disqualified you. God can use even the seasons that tried to break you to deepen your compassion and sharpen your discernment. What was meant to confuse you can become a place where clarity is born. You may still feel anger, and God is not afraid of your honesty. Bring the anger to Him before you turn it into a weapon against yourself or someone else. Tell Him what you lost. Tell Him what hurt. Tell Him what you wish had been different. Prayer is not pretending that everything was acceptable. Prayer is refusing to carry unbearable things alone. God can hold the truth of your pain without letting pain become the ruler of your life. He can teach you how to forgive without calling evil good. He can teach you how to release vengeance without abandoning justice. He can teach you how to love yourself enough to stop returning to places that dishonor you. Healing does not ask you to deny the wound. Healing asks you to stop allowing the wound to define every decision. Your heart can become honest and free at the same time. Today, choose one thought that has been poisoning your peace and bring it into the light. Maybe it is, nobody will ever see the truth. Maybe it is, I have to defend myself constantly. Maybe it is, I will never trust again. Maybe it is, what happened to me will always follow me. Then answer that thought with what God says. He sees, He knows, He heals, and He leads. You do not have to solve your entire future today. You only have to take the next faithful step. That may mean resting. That may mean setting a boundary. That may mean asking for wise support. That may mean returning to a prayer you stopped praying because disappointment made it difficult to hope. God is not demanding that you arrive at complete healing before you move forward. He is inviting you to walk with Him as healing unfolds. The lie fell, but now you must decide what will rise in its place. Let it be truth. Let it be peace. Let it be a stronger understanding of your identity. Let it be a deeper dependence on God rather than a deeper dependence on people's approval. Let it be courage to continue doing what is right without needing an audience. Let it be wisdom to recognize the difference between conviction and condemnation. Conviction from God leads you toward growth. Condemnation traps you in shame and tells you that you are beyond restoration. Do not accept condemnation as if it were humility. God does not call you to live under a sentence He did not write. He calls you to receive grace, learn what you need to learn, and move forward with a clean heart. The future does not belong to the lie. It belongs to the truth God is growing within you. There is a reason this moment feels significant, not because every answer must arrive today, but because you are ready to stop measuring your life by the wound. You have carried the story of what happened long enough. Now God is inviting you to carry the story of what He is doing in you. He is teaching you that truth can be quiet and still be powerful. He is teaching you that dignity does not require permission. He is teaching you that you can be both tender and wise, both forgiving and boundaried, both humble and certain of your God-given worth. You are not becoming numb. You are becoming rooted. You are not ignoring the past. You are refusing to let it steal the future. God's work in you may not be loud, but it is deep, and deep work creates a strength that shallow opinions cannot destroy. If these words meet you in a place of pain, do not rush past what your heart needs to acknowledge. Let yourself grieve what was lost. Let yourself recognize what was unfair. Then let God remind you that unfairness is not the final definition of your life. Your story includes the wound, but it does not end there. Your story includes the lie, but it does not end there. Your story includes the silence, but it does not end there. There is still purpose in you. There is still love ahead of you. There is still a voice inside you that God can strengthen. There is still a future that does not require the approval of those who tried to diminish you. The Lord is not asking you to forget your pain overnight. He is asking you to stop walking alone with it. Give Him the places where you became afraid, and let Him restore your courage step by step. You are allowed to become different after what you survived. You are allowed to be slower to trust, quicker to pray, and more careful about who receives access to your heart. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to honor the wisdom that pain has taught you without worshiping the pain itself. Do not return to old patterns merely because they are familiar. Familiarity is not always safety. God may be leading you into a new kind of life, one where you no longer chase people who only value you when you are useful, quiet, or easy to control. He may be teaching you to recognize mutual honor, healthy love, and relationships that do not require you to lose yourself. Let this new discernment become a gift. Let it help you choose what aligns with the peace God is building within you. On this 5th day of August, let your prayer be simple and sincere. Say, Father, I give you every false word that has tried to live in my mind. I give you the people I cannot change, the answers I may never receive, and the pain I do not fully understand. Teach me to walk in truth without hatred. Teach me to forgive without abandoning wisdom. Teach me to trust your work even when it is quiet. Heal the places where accusation became fear. Restore the places where betrayal made me doubt myself. Make me steady in your love. Help me recognize the doors you are closing for my protection and the doors you are opening for my purpose. Let my life speak with integrity. Let my attention. You need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Zuru readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.